Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today we have a great guest on. This is Gigi, and I met Gigi at Hippocrates Health Institute years ago. Gigi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's a pleasure to see you again. It's really
Same,
great.
same here. Same
Thank you for
here.
helping me.
Gigi, I used to have a raw food restaurant in New York, and I've
Uh-huh.
just traveled all over promoting the raw food diet. I met you at Hippocrates where you were doing a life change, health educators course and
Yeah.
program, and then now you've took that and you moved to the Midwest and opened up a big raw food restaurant. Amazing.
And they call that program transformation because it did transform my entire life. And Paul, before I arrived at Hippocrates, I was battling this thing called colon cancer and decided to opt out of surgery. That just wasn't an option for me, and decided to figure out another way of healing. I had no idea that this world, this lifestyle existed, but I wanted to research to see if it did. I came across the China study. They talked about how you can turn disease on and off by the choices that we make in food, but there was not a true, like plan of how to do it. How can I do this? What should I eat? What shouldn't I eat? And then there you are, Hippocrates showed up. And I went there for the transformation program. You're right. I stayed roughly about 3 weeks and had no idea. You know what I thought, Paul? I really thought the menu was going to change. I didn't know I was going to be eating raw foods. I never even heard of raw foods, raw living, and this lifestyle. I just thought, oh, I get there, get my body back strong. And I thought I'd be eating plant food, but didn't know about how important living foods, raw foods are for our body and how it can actually heal us. And going through that program with Hippocrates really changed my life. And you're right. Not only did it heal my body, but it changed the way I thought, how I think, how I feel. It even changed my, how should I say, my business profile. I was doing something totally different than what I am currently doing right now, but because of learning about plant medicine, now I own a raw foods restaurant here in Kansas City. I organize one of the largest festivals, which is called Midwest Soul Veg Fest here in Kansas City. And so, our message is changing lives one plant at a time. And this is how we do it.
Absolutely amazing. I want to go back to where you were when before you were even diagnosed with cancer. Take
Yeah.
it so the average person can understand and connect. You and I, we didn't grow up like wanting to be into raw,
No,
wanting to eat healthy. We were just doing what we thought we need to do, eating the standard American diet.
exactly.
So tell us, when you were younger, did you get sick? Did you have signs that something might be wrong? And what was your
When I was
diagnosis?
young, yeah, the way that I grew up, I had chronic asthma. And of course, I was still on the slave food diet. That's what we call it, not the American Standard Diet. For me, it's called slave food diet. Grew up very asthmatic as a child. Was in and out of the hospital with injections, to get my congestion down. But that's because, back then, my mother, I grew up in a single family home and she was getting free, cheese. Remember the block cheese and dairy? And I grew up on a lot of, cheese and milk and the very things that was creating these attacks that I would have, my asthma. And and then from there, growing into this adult, I was still eating like my mother, like we ate then. You talk about fried chicken, you talk about chitlins for Thanksgiving, you talk about collard greens, cornbread, but now we know we can make it a little different, right, Paul? But still, it's all these heavy, saturated fat, unhealthy food, pork chops, uh, pig feet. The list kind of goes on. And I was still, even after, being married and having children, and didn't think about what I was serving them the same way that I was eating, and had no conscious or concept or connection to animals or anything else. And so the very food that I was eating was the food that was killing me, and creating, not only being asthmatic as a child, but then as an adult having, colon cancer. And because of the choices that I was making in food. And you look at processed food, like I was saying, heavy. Now I was a fried chicken girl. I tell you what, fried chicken any way that I could have it, spicy, however way. I ate a lot of meat, and that's because growing up, that's how we ate. And dairy products, milk and cheese, and macaroni and cheese, and that was my lifestyle. And like you were saying, the standard American diet from, I don't know if I even should mention, some of these big corporations like McDonald's, eating a lot of that because that was affordable to do that, but had no idea that the choices that I was making, even for myself, was killing me, and the choices that I was making for my family was killing them. And so learning about the proper way of eating, the proper way to really, thank you, sorry about that. Thank you, of choosing to change, or should I say, break the generational curse. Because to me, my mother did it, cooked for us this way because her mother and her forefathers, because it was still, like I said, a slave food. And so we continue to eat that particular diet. And I, through my sons, passed down from generation to generation, eating the same bad food. And now I have an opportunity. And I chose that opportunity for myself to break the generational curse, because that's what it is. And when you look at African Americans, high blood pressure, diabetes, my mom died from heart disease. Now my sister has heart disease and cancer. It runs rapid in our community. And that's because, I believe that for me, it was, cancer was supposed to happen to me. I'm laughing and saying that now. And the reason why I say that now is because if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have became this warrior that I am, and where I am as a health educator, where I am as a nutritionist, and really educating people about plant medicine and changing their lifestyle. I believe that since 2016, 17, I've helped so many people, including myself, reverse disease. And now here we are, breaking that generational curse for my grandchildren. They don't eat the way that I ate, the way that I was taught to eat. They are vegans. And I'm so proud of my children from allowing them to become that. And now they have changed their diet. My oldest son, my firstborn, which is 40 this year, he's raw, like his mom.
Wow.
Yeah. And the rest of them, that's who just walked in with me a smoothie of some sort he made. But, and he takes great care of his mom, by the way. And my other three sons, they're doing the best that they can, but now they're eating less meat. They're eating, incorporating more vegetables in their diet. But my grandchildren, they have to, and they want it to change. And now they're eating all plants. And I'm super proud of them for that. Yeah.
Wow.
For allowing that. Because parents, we're the ones that make the choice, not the children. The children will eat what we place on their table, right? We just believe that they won't. And,
Exactly.
I hear this from parents, and I said, yes, they will. we feed a lot of children in not just community centers, but after school program, plant nutrition and daycares in urban core communities now. And children are loving it, and it's changing lives. And they are the future. You know, they go back and tell their parents what they want to eat.
Yeah, absolutely,
And so,
absolutely.
yeah, it's very impactful.
So tell us what happened. So here you are doing your work, eating the standard American diet. Did you start feeling sick and went to the doctor and got diagnosed, or did you like how do you find out? And then how long did you wrestle with what they said how to treat it, or did you try their stuff and it wasn't working? And then so tell us a little about the process of that.
Yeah, so the process was I had owned a business, another business in what we call our Power and Light district here in Kansas City, a new district. And there was a streetcar coming in that district. And this crane sat in front of my store for 2 years. I was stressed out. I had no customers. I was just eating whatever I can get my hands on because I stayed in my business over, 24 hours a day almost. And, I was eating, you're right, the standard American diet. And that was, like I told you, working the way I was working, stress. I would, how that goes when your body is stressed, it wants comfort food. So I would eat fries, McDonald's, I would eat my fried chicken, I would eat foods like that. And then, every now and then I would do a side salad or something like that that I thought, okay, I'm still eating healthy. To me, that was still healthy, right? And had no idea what was going on in my body. But then there was a thing called what they call it a Barack Care. The insurance happened, and it made it affordable for small businesses like myself. And I took advantage of that and scheduled an appointment. I wasn't feeling a certain way. I just felt that I needed to go and get checked out because I had an opportunity with the insurance. And so when I went to get blood work done and everything, and I had said to my doctor, I said, I would like to have a colonoscopy because I was told when you turn 50, this is when you should get it. He didn't recommend it for me. I recommended it for myself. And, I was experiencing beforehand a lot of constipation and all of that. And I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought, hey, that's just the way it is, right? Had no idea that that was a part of what was going on in my body. So had that done. And shortly afterwards, I was called over the phone and was told that I had, colon cancer and that they wanted me back in the office so that we could start setting up surgery. And I just, it was just unsurreal to be told something like that over the phone, number one. Number two, there was no one there with me. And number three, I'm a very private person, so I didn't want to share the information. And to me, the stigma that's attached to that, like I thought it was the worst cancer to have because it's in, your colon, where you poop, you know. I'm like, oh God, who can I share this with? Not breast cancer or any of that. But it was just the most horrible thing to ever been told. And so I decided to research my family history. No one in my family had colon cancer. What they did have, like I mentioned before, high blood pressure and so on and so forth. So after going to take that visit on, they had a diagram up and told me what they were going to have to do from my large intestines to this to moving. It was a lot. And then they said whether cancer the cancer was located, that it was growing quite rapidly and that I needed to have it done right away. I decided to go home and just, pray about it. I prayed like I've ever prayed before. I did meditation, a lot of that. And thanks to Michael Bernard Beckwith for that, showing me that way. And I just felt like that wasn't for me. And when I went back for my last test, because I had to get some x-rays and all of that done, I asked the doctor, I said, so, the surgeon, I said, what can I do to strengthen my body to prepare me for surgery? And when he said nothing, I don't know, it was something in my gut that knew, that spirit in us that tells us that there's something, I don't know, I just had this feeling that this wasn't going to work for me. And then I said in my mind, at that time was this wasn't going to work. So, I just went back and prayed and meditated. And then all of a sudden, the China study comes on. I started YouTubing. There was a bunch of ridiculousness on YouTube, ways of healing cancer, things that is not true. And the China study, like I mentioned before, came on and it talked about how you can turn disease off and on by the choices that we make in food. And it was an aha moment that I connected what I was eating to cancer. And then I said, okay, so how do I do it? What food? What is he saying? What, other than stop eating, high fat saturated food, but it was never really connection on, step by step. And then, after that, Hippocrates kind of popped up. Brian Clemens was saying, we help people heal themselves. And I said, well, what is that? And he kind of talked about the program, but then there was a phone number. I called the following day, and that's what happened. I called Hippocrates, and I was able to go through their program. And who would have known that? I would have never thought that food can either heal you or kill you. That wasn't my mindset. Again, like I said, the way that I was brought up in such a way where we were still, everyone still ate the same way. And we didn't think anything different when I saw my mom dying, having heart disease or anything like that. Didn't even think to say, oh, food was connected to that, or even myself. There was no one in my family that had, colon cancer, or it didn't run in my family, but other things did. Diabetes ran, being about diabetic ran in my family. My mom was that. So I think that when you know better, you do better. And learning about the choices that we make really set me on this road of self-healing.
Wow.
And I ate all raw for 2 years. And I can tell you what that was like. No berries, nothing sweet, no sugar, no fruit, none of that. I ate lots of raw vegetables, which we call living foods, all green, leafy greens, avocados, things like that, but and high doses of IV therapy. And the number one thing was, I believe, is, I call it psychotherapy. We need to get our mind, once our mind is in the relationship with our body to self-heal, then anyone can do this. I'm nothing special. I'm no one special, but I know it could be tough changing your diet, but either that or die, which is your choice. It's our choice. And I think that if we do anything, even if we don't do it for ourselves, we should do it for the future generation, our children, our grandchildren. But I know that it worked for me, and I believe in it. And I know that raw foods, I hear people saying, well, I can't do it, or I can't eat raw foods or anything like that. But I tell you, raw foods to me is the ultimate lifestyle. It's like from, I even talked to Serena Williams that said she eats raw before her tournament. And this is what happens. She goes vegan and eat raw foods. And I'm not talking about raw meat, y'all. Now, come on, I'm saying raw food. I'm talking about, vegetables, fruits and vegetables. That's what we're talking about.
So what happened? So you came to, you said, I'm not going to do what the doctors suggest.
Yes.
You end up at Hippocrates, you do the Hippocrates program.
Yes.
And so did you go back to the doctor ever to get tested? Did they
Yes, I did. So I did
free? What
the
happened?
Hippocrates. Yeah, I did the Hippocrates program. The first time I did it was for 3 weeks. It was the transformational program. And then I had to go home and learn how to set up my kitchen this way. And that was I set up, purchased a dehydrator, my recipes, and changed my friends. Everything was different for me. Though I couldn't associate with the same people that I was associating with. If I was going to heal, this is the way that I had to do it. That bad energy, the negative, what they call them negative Nancy's, people that love you and still saying, oh, you need to have surgery. Why are you doing it this way? You're trying to kill yourself. Why would you do that? So you have to separate yourself from that, even though they love you. But, this is your own journey. This was my own journey. And so I set this thing up, ate this way. About 6 to 8 months later, I went and I got my second my colonoscopy, went back, and they couldn't figure out what happened. The tumor shrunk. They did see what you call it, they had dye where they needed to have, where they had planned for me to have surgery. And they had dyed that area where the tumor was. And the tumor had shrunk, and they said, well, what happened? And why would I tell them that this happened? There was no way that they were going to believe it. And so, and I didn't want to start that because they said, well, we need you back. After that, they said, we need you back um, every month for a colonoscopy so that they can figure out what happened. So they brought in all these specialists and they were calling me. And then I went to the Mayo Clinic to have a follow up, because I felt they were pressuring me. And I was getting a little nervous because I was receiving all these phone calls from them. And it really scared me. And once a month for a colonoscopy, that's actually surgery. So I'm thinking something's off here. So I went to the Mayo Clinic and I had a second colonoscopy there. And he said the same thing. He said, so tell me, what did you do? The Mayo Clinic is all plant-based, so they get it. And I told him what I did. And so they even informed me, they said, well, we know you live in Kansas City. Do not have a colonoscopy every month. He said, your colon is our colon wall is very thin. There's no way that they should even recommend me to have that. So now, I do go get checked I was going once a year. Now it's every 2 to 3 years. And here I am, a living testimony that food is medicine and it healed me. And I still live the same lifestyle. I have not converted back. And I have people say, well, if you self-heal, why don't you go back now? I said, why would I? It feels so great. I feel magnificent. I said, I can turn cartwheels again, with my grandbabies. I can run around with them. No,
Wow.
I feel too great to go back.
And how
Yeah,
old are you now?
I'm 60.
Wow. Wow. So you decided
Yeah,
to open then you decided, well, I'm going to help other people and
yeah.
decided to open up this restaurant. Now your restaurant's a vegan restaurant, but it's not all raw, correct?
Yes, we're 100% vegan. We have served zero soy, zero sugar, zero salt here. It's quite amazing, but I always say everything is in the sauce. We're 95% raw. We serve soup, so that's one of the reasons why we're not raw. It took me a little bit to convert to that because I know I'm in Kansas City, it's cold, but I had to do it because my spirit, it was not lined up. I opened the space, we were 100% vegan, but I still had gluten-free bread and different things like that. And it just, no, I had to do it. So yeah, we're 100% raw. We not only do we specialize in food, but we also specialize in wellness. So we have another component within our restaurant where we serve Hippocrates, vitamins and B12 and supplements and different things like that, trace minerals. The list kind of goes on. So we
Yeah,
do quite a bit. We have herbs as well
yeah.
and teas.
Besides all the food and the supplements you said, do you personally take supplements and herbs yourself, or do you take that?
Yes, I do take, different herbs for myself. We have, we have teas as well. So, everything is what do you call it? Caffeine free. So, I do that as well. I do take trace minerals from time to time, especially magnesium, B12, which is raw form. That's about it. Yeah, that's
Wow.
about it. And I feel super like a superwoman. I
Now
do.
that you've been medically diagnosed to have no cancer, you feel great, you're
No
doing
cancer
great.
whatsoever.
Have the unbelievers, your family and other people change their mind and say, "Oh well, I guess we were wrong and you were right," and it seems to be working.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, I created this program, this 21-day detox program where my family, everyone has that I've helped. There's been so many people that have gone through this program and they actually has stayed the course. And some go just to detox their body and, bring their body back to balance. But there's a lot of folks that have gone through the program and have seen, healing within themselves. So Brian has helped me put together the program. So it's been successful here. Yeah.
Do you do personal coaching or consultations?
Yes, I do personal coaching, consulting. We do juice cleanses here. We do um, meal plans here, and especially we have a starter guide. I also written a book. It is called the V Code. Oh, I should have had it here. I'm sorry. The V Code is a starter guide to plant-based living. Yeah, so
Okay, so
do that as well.
if somebody wanted your coaching services, do they have to be there, or do you do it over the phone as well?
Oh, I do it over the phone as well.
Okay.
So they can either go to our website, which is Gigi's Vegan Cafe.com, or they can give us a call at 816-605-1819, or you can email me at gigithevegan@gmail.com.
Great. I'm going to put those links below, everybody. So definitely
Thank
check that
you.
out. And
Thank you.
it's just another great inspirational story that you're following what we needed to follow all along. And you
Yes.
eliminated the things that were creating the problems. And even then, there are people out there that just won't believe it and so on, but that's all right. You're
Yeah.
doing wonderful. And it's just all around you're a blessing, and you're the truth revealed that this is how it is. And it's not, some people might say they ate this way and they didn't feel
Yeah.
good, and a lot of people eat meat and they think they feel great, but this is proven to work. Hippocrates has been
Right.
helping and healing people for over
Yeah.
50 years. It works.
Yes, it definitely works. It definitely works. And we know now, our food system is killing us, from the pesticides that's been spraying on our food. We talk about, hormones that's given to our animals that is passed down to us, and so we definitely have to make a change, even if we need to start growing our own food, get a small garden and start off, just growing a few tomatoes or this and that, in your garden, the cucumbers, lots of things that you can do
And the sprouts in
uh,
the house are so
organically, especially sprouts,
very, yeah.
110%. Yeah, sprouts. Sprouting your food, soaking your legumes overnight, until they sprout. So many different things that we need to do for ourselves because, the system is broken and it's up to us to help try to fix it.
Yeah,
And this is the way that we do it for ourselves. Yeah.
it, it's there's something really wrong, and I believe
Yeah.
on a spiritual level that
Oh.
the stuff they're putting in the food to make us want to eat
Mhm.
more, and
Oh
literally
my God.
somebody that's massively overweight is just continuing to eat until the organs will explode. That has to be a spiritual thing going on there, because
Yeah.
Nobody in the right mind would do that. And it's like you said perfectly, it's a generational curse because
Yeah.
nobody in this world loves us more than our parents, but they didn't know. Nobody taught
They
them.
didn't know. They
And I
didn't know.
know, and I tell you this, Gigi, I read the Bible and it says, "My people destroyed for lack of knowledge." And
Mm,
that's, it's the knowledge. Nobody taught us.
it's the
Nobody
knowledge.
taught us. And
Yeah.
then later on, they taught us, and we rejected it because for whatever reason. And then it's continue to
Mhm.
happen. And
Yeah,
we need this wake up call. But,
we do.
I'm sorry you had to go through the pain and suffering, but I'm thankful that you had to go through the pain and
Yes.
suffering because look where you are now. And I know you're reaching people because I know
Yeah.
there are people desperate walking into that restaurant and getting their lives changed because they're getting knowledge for the first time and they're motivated to apply the knowledge instead of rejecting the knowledge.
Exactly.
And it's a beautiful thing, and you're doing it where people say it can't be done in a cold place, and you're doing it against
Right here in Kansas
all
City. Yeah.
odds. You're making it happen, and it's
Yeah.
just wonderful. And that's why I want to do this video because I want people to be inspired by you, who's actually lived it and done it, and just overcame this dreadful uh,
Yeah.
consequence. Like you said, we do it to ourselves. And I
We
try
do.
to tell people they got to stop.
Yes.
It's just crazy,
Gotta
crazy.
stop. Yeah. And I think that people, when they're ready, just like what it is, we will talk about folks that are addicted to drugs, but it is an addiction. It's the same thing, you know? But when we're ready, that's when we change. But you have to be ready. And sometimes you have to be forced to change. I was forced to change. It's either this way or die.
Yeah,
Because I believe that if I would have had the surgery, eventually I would have died. You know why, Paul? Because I never changed anything. I had the surgery, put the band-aid on, and still was doing the same thing.
exactly,
So there you
exactly.
are. Yeah, this way. I get a second chance on life. That's how I feel. I get a second chance on life. And because of that, I'm going to live the best life that I can live right now. I'm going to eat the best food that I can eat. And I'm going to help those people that I can. And that's what I am, and I'm serving now. And I love that. My life, like I said, you know, my entire life began at a Hippocrates Health Institute. That's why Brian he always says, you need to move to Florida because your life changed. This is where you began. This new person came forth.
Yeah,
And I tell you, it's so delicious. I'm new. I'm no longer the person that I used to be, even the way that I think. I'm more nicer, I'm calmer, I'm happier, you know. Who would think food would do that? But it does. It does. And I just think that, people that are listening today, it is time for a change. It's time for a change in your life. A lot of us, you probably have been battling back and forth with something. You have a mate that says, well, I'm not going to do it. But sometimes you got to do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Do it for the love of yourself. So,
the addiction of drinking soda, smoking cigarettes, and eating animals is so out of control today, and more happening more than ever before. And it's crazy because people justify doing it and they're glad they're doing it. And
yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
at least they put a warning on cigarettes that it's not
Yes.
healthy. At least they do that, but they need that same warning on stuff that's killing people. And if people are so addicted to eating animal meats and they feel that they must do it, well, you're frying it up, you're putting everything else in it to make it even worse.
Mm.
If you think animals are so good, just like you could eat an apple, just eat an apple. Well, go ahead and just eat an animal. Don't season it up and cook it up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just eat an apple and stuff. And if you like the taste
Exactly.
of all that frying stuff, go put some steak sauce on an
Yeah.
apple. Don't be eating those animals.
The same. And
Crazy.
now, Paul, you got little girls, 8 years old, 7 years old, that's having their menstrual cycle.
Yeah, yeah.
This is unheard of. And people think it's normal. That isn't normal. It isn't normal.
It's
And it's,
I can't explain to you, my family, my friends. I meet people like you all the time, Gigi, who've gotten
yeah,
better just because of where I go and who I see.
yeah,
And I tell people, look, I know people that had what you had and they changed and they got better. And they say, well, and they'll give me every excuse in the book not to change. And it's like, wow, I just
yeah,
want to take you, Gigi, in this interview and just give it to
yeah.
all of them and say, here, look for yourself. Look for yourself. This works.
Mhm.
And you and I know people that have done this and we've seen people and oh wow, it's so great to have you on here. And in the restaurant, I know that those doors are just like when I walk through those doors at Hippocrates, people could walk through the doors of your restaurant and they could I
Yes,
know that place is a place that people's
yes,
lives are being changed as soon as they walk in that place. Even if they're
yes,
not sick,
absolutely.
because they're getting knowledge. They're getting
Absolutely.
knowledge,
Absolutely.
you know?
And they are 100%, 100%. And when I first opened, I planted certain herbs right out front to the walkway. So let's say if someone's coming in that had a bad day, stress, by the time you hit my door because of the sage that is planted, the jade that's out there, all of those healing plants are going to heal you before you get inside anyway. And they were planted there deliberately. And people even say, "Oh my God, I feel so great. I don't know what happened. I feel so good." Yeah. Right when they hit the
Yeah.
door and they love the space. I mean, it's like you're home and that's how we treat you.
Yeah, and you are
It's
in a nice place because even though it gets cold there, I mean, Kansas City is one
yeah,
of the most beautiful states in the country. It's really
yeah,
nice
it
there.
really is.
Wonderful people, and it's so great to when I'm back, I can't wait to go there one day and see your place because
Yeah, bro, you're gonna have to
yeah,
come.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
I've been to all the states that had raw food restaurants and everywhere else. And there was one back in the day. There was a small place in Kansas City that tried to do a little raw food thing, but that was quite a while ago. But
Yeah.
it's so great when I heard that you were there. I was like, wow, and
Nice. Thank you. Thank
wow,
you.
and
Thank
the
you.
cold weather's coming though. You gotta have to deal with.
I know.
Yeah, yeah,
But we warm it just a little bit in the dehydrator. So,
yeah,
but still, yeah,
yeah. That's great. And
we do our best.
now
We have soup.
your book, The V Code, people can get that on your website, right?
Yes, people can get that on our website as well as Amazon. They can go on Amazon and purchase that too. It's called the V Code.
And is
Yeah.
your menu on your website?
Yes, it's on our website. I think
Okay.
they're out updating some things right now.
Yeah,
So,
and it's Gigi's Vegan Plus Wellness Cafe. And it's
absolutely.
great. I'm gonna post the link below.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
everybody definitely check this out. And this is
Yeah.
the picture
Right here in
you
Kansas
have
City.
recipes in your V Code book, right?
Yes, we do. We have over 50 recipes of living foods, vibrant foods. It's beautiful food.
One more thing I want you to
So, and
explain.
then
Yeah.
Brian wrote the foreword in the book.
Nice, nice.
I know.
I want you to explain this important point before we finish.
Okay.
Living food versus raw food. People need to understand this because somebody can go to Whole Foods and buy themselves a little candy bar that says raw food candy bar. But the living foods is a whole nother story. It takes to another level. And
Yeah.
I hear people say they're eating a raw food diet, they didn't do work for them or vegetarian diet. Well, there's vegetarian junk food, and then there's the whole
Uh,
foods. Explain the
yeah.
difference to people here.
So to me, our body's alive and vibrant. It's just, look at us, just alive and vibrant. And so we need foods that are alive as well that can actually go into the body and keep it young, healthy, and vibrant. You're looking at enzymes, proteins, everything is alive. Nothing's cooked, nothing's processed. It's all alive and vibrant. And you can feel it once you eat it, right, Paul? You feel it going to the body, and it's wonderful. And so then that's living foods, right? Just like our bodies, alive and vibrant, all green, all different, beautiful colors. You want to eat that. And then there's some food that folks say are what's it called? Raw food, right? So, and you're right, candy bars, stuff like that that you can purchase that's still raw, has sugar and stuff like that in it, are certain processed foods still say it's raw. So to me, that's the difference, right? Living foods versus raw food. I'm a living foods girl.
There you go. There you
Woman.
go. And
That is the way to
uh,
go. Yeah,
people need to
big way.
understand food is supposed to have a life
Just
process. It has a ripe stage, a
exactly.
freshness stage, and a dying stage. That's real food. And if you go and you get a burger from McDonald's, that thing will sit there for 2 years, and
Oh my
it's
God.
just going to turn hard. Nothing's going to happen.
Ooh,
But you go get an apple from the store in a week, it's bad because you got to eat it when
mhm.
it's living. And
Exactly.
great, Gigi, you're the best. Thank you
That's what
so
it
much
is.
for coming on the
Thank
show.
you, Paul.
And I'm so excited about your story and keep inspiring people because you're just a
Thank
blessing.
you.
And everybody, I'm putting the links below. And
Too.
Kansas City's in the middle of the country, everyone. If you want to visit
In
a
the
raw food
Midwest.
restaurant, you're maybe 8 hours, no matter where you are in the country, less than 8 hours by car. You could take a plane less than
Yeah,
2 hours, go right there. And she's about maybe 15 minutes, even less from the airport. Go there, fly into Kansas City and go to that cafe for lunch and then go fly home. It's a beautiful
that's
thing.
right.
That's
That's
great.
right, Paul. Thank you so much. And you keep up the great work that you're doing, Paul. You
Thank you.
do really great work.
Thank
And
you.
we all appreciate all that you do. And I'll be in at a Parkinson's in February, so I hope to see you as well.
Oh, not only will you see me, are you staying there for a while?
Yes, I am. Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll come there. Maybe we'll do a little interview and then I'll have lunch with
Okay.
you there because I live right there near
Oh,
there.
that's right.
Yeah, you can see
Okay.
my garden, all my trees and stuff I'm growing, everything else.
I
Yeah.
look forward to it.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. Everybody will be back with Gigi in the winter time when she's out here. But until then, get to a restaurant and say hello to her. Thank you for being on. Have a
Thank
great day,
you.
everybody, and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.